Lots of McDonald's locations nearby. Check out all those golden arches. But one by one, you can see most have disappeared. So we sent our Lauren Victory to find out why.
You drive past a McDonald's and something's wrong. The parking lot is empty, the lights are off. A for lease sign sits where the golden arches used to glow. For decades, McDonald's seemed invincible, unstoppable, the fast food empire that conquered the world. But something's happening, something the company doesn't want you to notice. We're breaking down 15 reasons why McDonald's is closing hundreds of stores. Some will surprise you, some will make you angry, and by the end, you'll understand why those golden arches might not shine as bright in the future. Let's get into it. 15. The Ghost Kitchen Revolution. McDonald's is closing physical stores because they're realizing they don't need them anymore, at least not as many. Welcome to the age of ghost kitchens. These are commercial kitchens with no dining room, no storefront, no golden arches visible from the highway, just a kitchen that exists purely to fulfill delivery orders. McDonald's has been quietly opening these facilities in major cities. They can operate 3 to 5 ghost kitchen locations for the cost of one traditional restaurant. No parking lot, no play place, no bathroom maintenance, just fryers, grills, and packaging stations. The economics are brutal. A traditional McDonald's location costs $1 to $2.2 million to build. A ghost kitchen costs $200,000 to $400,000. When you can serve the same delivery radius at a fraction of the cost, why keep the expensive real estate? This is happening in dense urban areas where delivery orders outpace dine-in traffic. Cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and San Francisco are seeing traditional locations close while ghost kitchens multiply in industrial parks. For McDonald's corporate, this is pure profit optimization. For the communities losing their neighborhood McDonald's, it's the end of an era. For workers, it's fewer jobs in visible locations and more invisible food prep roles in windowless warehouses. But at least those ghost kitchens are saving money, right? Wrong. Because there's a number on every paycheck that's making franchisees break out in cold sweats. 14. The $20 minimum wage problem. Let's talk about California. In April 2024, California implemented a $20 minimum wage for fast food workers. McDonald's franchisees immediately sounded the alarm. The math is simple and painful. A typical McDonald's employs 50 to 60 people. Raising wages from $15 to $20 per hour adds roughly $500,000 to $600,000 to annual labor costs per location. Franchisees can't absorb that. They have 3 options: raise prices significantly, cut staff dramatically, or close underperforming stores. Many chose option 3. In the 6 months following the wage increase, California saw dozens of McDonald's locations close. The company publicly blamed changing market conditions, but leaked internal documents told the real story. These stores could no longer generate sufficient profit margins. The controversy isn't just in California. Other states are watching. Washington, Oregon, and New York are implementing similar laws. McDonald's is preemptively closing stores in markets where they anticipate wage increases will make operations unsustainable. Franchise owners are caught in an impossible situation. They're operating on 5 to 7% profit margins in good times. A 33% labor cost increase wipes that out completely. This isn't a political statement, it's a business reality. When labor costs increase by a third overnight, stores operating on thin margins can't survive. But there's a plot twist. Some locations were dead before they even got the wage bill, because McDonald's did something spectacularly stupid in the 90s. 13th cannibalization strategy. McDonald's is closing stores because they built too many stores too close together. In the 1990s and early 2000s, McDonald's went on an expansion spree. They opened locations aggressively, sometimes putting stores within a mile of each other. The strategy was market saturation. Be everywhere. Never let a customer drive more than 5 minutes to find golden arches. But this created a problem: cannibalization. Multiple McDonald's locations were competing with each each other for the same customers. Imagine two McDonald's, 1 mile apart. They're splitting the customer base. Neither location is operating at full capacity. Both are paying full rent, full utilities, full staff. The inefficiency is massive. McDonald's corporate finally acknowledged this. Their solution? Close the weaker performer. Redirect that traffic to the remaining store. Operate one location at 90% capacity instead of two locations at 50% capacity. This is happening nationwide. They're targeting the older store with worse facilities, worse drive-thru access, or more expensive real estate. The newer, more efficient location stays open and absorbs the customer base. The customers don't really notice. They just drive an extra 3 minutes. But the franchise owner who gets shut down, they lose everything. Their investment, their livelihood, their retirement plan, gone because corporate overexpanded decades ago. But all of this is nothing compared to the divorce happening with their biggest landlord. 12. The Walmart effect. Walmart has McDonald's locations inside many of their stores, or at least they used to. These in-store McDonald's were a fixture of suburban America. You'd finish grocery shopping, grab a Happy Meal for the kids, and head home. Convenient, profitable, a win-win partnership. But Walmart is closing hundreds of these locations. Why? Because Walmart is expanding their own food service options. They're building delis, pizza stations, and prepared food sections that compete directly with the McDonald's lease space. From Walmart's perspective, why give McDonald's the revenue when they can keep it themselves? They're not renewing leases. They're converting McDonald's spaces into expanded grocery pickup areas and automated fulfillment centers. McDonald's is losing hundreds of high-traffic locations through these non-renewals. When your landlord decides they don't want you anymore, you're gone. The same thing is happening with McDonald's locations in airports, malls, and other shared spaces. Airport authorities want more local restaurant concepts. Mall operators want experiential dining. Gas stations are building their own food programs. McDonald's captive audience is disappearing. These were some of their most profitable locations because customers had limited alternatives. Now those golden geese are going extinct. Walmart kicked them out. But what McDonald's is doing to themselves is even worse. 11. The real estate problem. McDonald's business model is fascinating. They're not really in the fast food business. They're in the real estate business that happens to sell hamburgers. Most McDonald's locations sit on land owned by McDonald's corporate. They lease the land to franchisees. This generates consistent revenue regardless of burger sales. It's a brilliant model that made McDonald's one of the most valuable real estate portfolios in the world. But it's also a trap. Many McDonald's locations are on prime real estate that has appreciated enormously. That land in a suburban shopping center that McDonald's bought in 1985 for $500,000, it's now worth $5 million. McDonald's is running the numbers. They're realizing that selling the land generates more profit than collecting lease payments from a struggling franchise. So they're closing stores and selling the real estate. Developers are buying these properties, tearing down the golden arches, and building luxury apartments, medical offices, or higher-end retail. McDonald's gets a massive one-time payout. The neighborhood gets something new. The franchise owner gets a closure notice. This is especially common in gentrifying neighborhoods where property values have exploded. That McDonald's is worth more dead than alive. The company is essentially harvesting its own real estate portfolio. They planted these seeds decades ago. Now they're cashing out. The problem? Once you sell the land, you can never build there again. They're trading long-term presence for short-term profits. Real estate greed is closing stores, but technology is executing stores like a sci-fi villain. 10. The digital ordering collapse. McDonald's went all in on digital transformation, mobile app ordering, touchscreen kiosks, curbside pickup. They spent hundreds of millions building this infrastructure. The promise was efficiency. Customers order on their phones, food is ready when they arrive, no cashier needed, lower labor costs, higher throughput. But it didn't work everywhere. In many locations, it made things worse. Older customers refused to use the technology. Lines got longer because people couldn't figure out the kiosks. Orders got confused because the kitchen couldn't keep up with simultaneous mobile, kiosk, drive-thru, and counter orders. Small-town locations struggled the most. The demographic skewed older. Internet connectivity was unreliable. Customers wanted human interaction, not screens. McDonald's made a calculation. Locations where digital ordering didn't take hold weren't worth saving. If customers in a market won't adopt the technology, that market isn't part of McDonald's future. They closed stores in areas with older demographics, lower smartphone penetration, or resistance to self-service technology. The future is digital. If your customer base isn't, you're getting shut down. McDonald's decided it was easier to abandon these markets than to maintain two different operating models. Now let's talk about the most expensive eggs in America. 9. The breakfast war casualties. McDonald's breakfast used to be unstoppable. The Egg McMuffin was iconic. Breakfast was 25% of their total revenue. Then everyone else got into breakfast. Wendy's launched breakfast. Taco Bell expanded their breakfast menu. Burger King went aggressive with promotions. Even gas stations started serving decent breakfast sandwiches. The breakfast wars intensified, and McDonald's started losing. Why? Because breakfast is expensive to operate. You need different equipment, different ingredients, different staff schedules. You're essentially running two different restaurants in one building. Breakfast requires specialty items that don't cross over to lunch and dinner. Eggs, sausage patties, English muffins, pancake batter, hash browns. All this inventory sits separate from your burger supplies. You need staff starting at 5 a.m. That means overnight prep or early morning shifts that are hard to fill and expensive to staff. Some McDonald's locations couldn't compete. Their breakfast sales dropped, but they still had all the overhead costs. The math stopped working. This hit rural and small-town locations especially hard. These communities had local diners that owned the breakfast market, mom-and-pop restaurants with loyal followings. McDonald's couldn't compete with that authenticity, so they left. Breakfast became a bloodbath. But here comes the real mob. 8. The Uber Eats tax. Third-party delivery became essential during the pandemic. McDonald's partnered with Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub. Delivery sales exploded, but these platforms take a massive cut, typically 25 to 30% of each order. Let's do the math. A $20 order through Uber Eats means $5 to $6 goes to the platform. McDonald's is operating on thin margins already. Giving up 30% of revenue is devastating. Some stores are profitable with dine-in and drive-thru, but when delivery becomes the dominant channel and a third of revenue disappears to platform fees, the location becomes unsustainable. McDonald's tried to negotiate better rates. The platforms refused. They have the leverage. They control the customers. They own the interface. They have the data. Delivery apps essentially became a tax on doing business, a tax that McDonald's has to pay or risk becoming invisible to a generation that orders everything through apps. So, McDonald's is closing delivery-dependent locations and consolidating orders into higher volume stores that can absorb the platform fees. The stores in dense urban areas that relied heavily on delivery, many are gone now. The corporate strategy is to serve those areas from fewer, larger locations that can generate enough volume to make the delivery economics work. If you're shocked that delivery apps are taking 30% of every order, hit that like button and subscribe, because the real reasons stores are closing are still coming. 7. The fast casual migration. Consumer preferences changed. People want better fast food. They want Chipotle. They want Panera. They want Shake Shack. This fast casual category offers perceived higher quality at only slightly higher prices. And it's absolutely destroying traditional fast food. McDonald's tried to adapt. They introduced premium sandwiches, salads, artisan chicken options. They renovated stores with modern designs, but they couldn't shake the perception problem. No matter what they put on the menu, people still thought of them as cheap, processed, unhealthy fast food. The brand damage runs deep. Decades of dollar menus and supersize options created an image that can't be undone with a few menu changes. The customers who would pay more for better food weren't going to McDonald's. They were going to Chipotle. So McDonald's was left competing for price-sensitive customers only. This squeezed them from both sides. They couldn't raise prices without losing customers, but costs kept increasing. Margins evaporated. Locations in affluent areas with multiple fast casual options couldn't compete. Those neighborhoods didn't want McDonald's anymore. So McDonald's closed those stores. They're retreating to markets where they can still win on price and convenience. Everywhere else, they're gone. The fast casual revolution didn't just steal market share, it fundamentally changed what consumers expect from quick service dining. But now comes the real betrayal, and it's coming from inside the house. 6. The franchise rebellion. McDonald's relationship with its franchisees is deteriorating. Franchise owners are angry, and some are walking away. The issue? McDonald's corporate keeps mandating expensive renovations, new equipment, updated designs, enhanced technology. Each mandate costs franchisees hundreds of thousands of dollars. Corporate says these investments are necessary to stay competitive. Franchisees say they're being squeezed dry. Many franchise owners operate on razor-thin margins. They can't afford another $500,000 renovation, especially when the return on investment is questionable. The Experience of the Future remodel program required digital menu boards, table service, mobile order parking spaces, and updated interiors. Cost per location? $300,000 to $700,000. Franchisees borrowed money to comply. Then the pandemic hit. Sales dropped. They couldn't make the loan payments. Many defaulted. So they're making a choice: close the store or sell it back to corporate at a loss. McDonald's is buying back these struggling franchise locations. Then they immediately close them. Why? Because corporate doesn't want to operate them either. They're not profitable, but corporate can absorb the loss better than an individual franchise owner can. The dream of owning a McDonald's franchise used to mean financial security. Now it means financial stress, corporate mandates, and impossible economics. Franchisees are in open revolt. But even if they weren't, there's one thing that'll still kill your store dead: a bad driveway. 5. The drive-thru problem. Drive-thru is now 70% of McDonald's business. The pandemic accelerated this shift. People don't want to go inside. They want convenience. But not every McDonald's location has a good drive-thru setup. Older locations in downtown areas, stores and strip malls with limited space, locations built before drive-thru was the priority. These stores have inefficient, slow drive-thrus that create bottlenecks. In today's market, if your drive-thru is slow, you're dead. Customers will go somewhere else. Speed is everything. McDonald's tracks drive-thru times obsessively. The goal is under 3 minutes from order to departure. Locations that consistently exceed 4 minutes are considered failures. Stores with poor drive-thru configurations simply can't hit these targets. The building layout is wrong. The traffic flow is bad. The order point is too close to the pickup window. There's nowhere for cars to stack during busy periods. McDonald's is closing locations with poor drive-thru configurations. If they can't rebuild or reconfigure the property, the store is done. This is why you're seeing newer McDonald's with double drive-thru lanes and elaborate traffic flow designs. They learned, but the old stores that can't be retrofitted, they're closing. The irony is brutal. These locations often have great dining rooms in good locations, but if the drive-thru doesn't work, none of that matters anymore. 4. The healthy eating backlash. People are eating less fast food, not temporarily, structurally. Obesity rates are rising. Health awareness is increasing. Documentaries about fast food are everywhere. Younger generations are more health conscious than their parents. McDonald's represents everything people are trying to avoid: processed meat, excessive sodium, high calories, minimal nutrition. The company tried. They added salads. They promoted apple slices. They emphasized grilled chicken. They put calorie counts on menu boards. It didn't matter. The brand damage was done. In health-conscious markets, McDonald's foot traffic collapsed. College towns, affluent suburbs, urban neighborhoods with Whole Foods demographics. These areas abandoned McDonald's. Millennials and Gen Z consumers want transparency. They want to know where their food comes from. They want sustainability. They want plant-based options. They want to feel good about what they're eating. McDonald's tried to address this with their Better Burger initiatives and partnerships with Beyond Meat, but the efforts felt half-hearted. The brand's DNA is fried food and convenience, not wellness. The company responded by abandoning those markets right back. They closed stores in areas where the cultural shift away from fast food was most pronounced. They're doubling down on customers who still want fast, cheap, indulgent food. Everyone else, McDonald's isn't fighting for them anymore. Now it gets absolutely insane. McDonald's looked at their struggling burger empire and said, you know what we need? A purple alien mascot selling $7 lattes. 3. The CosMc's gamble. McDonald's is launching a new concept called CosMc. It's a beverage-focused chain meant to compete with Starbucks and Dutch Brothers. To fund this expansion, they need capital, they need resources, they need freed-up locations. So they're closing underperforming McDonald's stores to reallocate resources to CosMc's. This is a massive bet. McDonald's is admitting that their core brand has limited growth potential. They're investing in a completely different concept, targeting a different customer base with a different product offering. CosMc's locations are smaller, require less staff, and focus on high-margin beverages instead of low-margin burgers. The economics are more favorable. If CosMc succeeds, it might justify the closures. McDonald's will have successfully pivoted to a new growth engine. If it fails, McDonald's will have sacrificed hundreds of stores for nothing. They'll have abandoned markets and customers for an experiment that didn't work. Either way, traditional McDonald's locations are being shuttered to make room for this gamble. But there's something way more boring killing stores right now. Something that hits you every time you check out at the grocery store. 2. The inflation trap. This is the big one. Inflation destroyed McDonald's value proposition. McDonald's entire appeal was cheap food, dollar menu, value meals, feeding a family for $20. But inflation hit food costs hard. Beef prices soared, chicken prices increased, potato prices went up, labor costs rose, utilities became expensive, everything became more expensive. McDonald's had to raise prices. A lot. That cheap meal now costs twice as much. But once McDonald's isn't cheap anymore, why go to McDonald's? If you're paying $12 for a McDonald's meal, you might as well pay $14 for Chipotle, or $13 for Five Guys, or $15 for a local burger place. McDonald's lost its competitive advantage. They're not cheap anymore, but they're also not good enough to justify mid-range prices. The brand exists in a painful middle ground. Too expensive to be the value option, not good enough to be the quality option. Customers left, sales declined. Stores that were barely profitable became deeply unprofitable. McDonald's tried to address this with value offerings, the $5 meal deal promotions. But franchisees revolted because these deals lose money. Corporate wants to drive traffic. Franchisees want to make profit. The tension is destroying the system. McDonald's is closing these locations because they can't figure out how to make them work in a high inflation, high wage, high cost environment. The business model broke, but there's one final villain, one apocalyptic force that's killing McDonald's, Target, and your neighborhood everything. 1. The Amazon effect. This is the real reason. The reason that explains everything else. The reason that's changing retail forever. Commercial real estate is dying, and McDonald's is collateral damage. Think about it. McDonald's locations exist in strip malls, shopping centers, and commercial districts. These areas thrived when people went out to shop, when retail was king, when malls were packed. But Amazon killed that world. People don't go to malls anymore. They don't drive to shopping centers. They order online. They stay home. This collapse in foot traffic is devastating for every business in these commercial areas, including McDonald's. The shopping center that used to have 1,000 visitors per day now has 200. The McDonald's in that center used to capture 15% of that traffic. Now they're getting 15% of a much smaller number. The math doesn't work anymore. The rent stayed the same, the costs stayed the same, but the customer base shrunk by 80%. The surrounding retail is dying. Stores are closing. Anchor tenants are leaving. Parking lots are empty. These commercial zones are becoming ghost towns. McDonald's is stuck in these dying commercial zones. They signed long-term leases expecting consistent foot traffic. That traffic is never coming back. So they're closing. They're breaking leases. They're paying termination fees. Anything to escape these dead zones. This is the Amazon effect, the digitization of commerce, the end of physical retail as we knew it. McDonald's is just one victim, but they're a highly visible one. Every closure is a signal that the old model is dead. The future of commerce is online. The future of food is delivery. The future of everything is digital first, with occasional physical touch points. McDonald's built an empire on physical presence, on being everywhere, on golden arches visible from every highway. That strategy is obsolete, and hundreds of stores are closing because the world they were built for no longer exists. The verdict: adapt or die. McDonald's isn't dying. They're still one of the largest restaurant chains in the world. But they're transforming radically, painfully. Fewer locations, more ghost kitchens, delivery focused, digital first. The nostalgic McDonald's, where you had birthday parties, where you stopped on road trips, where you grabbed a cheap meal after the game, that McDonald's is disappearing. Store by store, closure by closure. This isn't just about one company. This is about how technology, economics, and culture are reshaping everything we thought was permanent. Those golden arches aren't going away, but they're not going to be on every corner anymore either. If this video opened your eyes, hit subscribe. Tell me in the comments, is there a McDonald's in your town that closed recently? I'll see you in the next one.